In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the numbers for the Greater Houston area housing market for the period of April 1st to 7, 2025, as well as looking at where mortgage rates are currently at and answering a common viewer question I get in my AMA section. Hi, my name is Sharon Tzib with RE/MAX Universal, and I'm a licensed real estate agent and broker in the Greater Houston area. And before we get started reviewing the numbers, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, it really does help me get this content out to more people. And if you like the content that you see today, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, that would be great too. So let's get started. So boy, the week of April 1st to 7th was a pretty wild ride in the country and the world. But in the Greater Houston area in particular, we did see some effects of that. We did notice that listings continue to come on the market at a healthy number, which is to be expected through springtime. So that trend continued. But the trend that really stood out to me was the way the off the market numbers jumped. And I think there's a couple things going on here. First of all, I do believe that it was the last week of the month. And in case you're not aware, listings generally terminate on the 30th of a month or the 31st in the case of March. And so it's not unusual to see a spike in withdrawals the first week because that is happening. But I also believe another reason is because homes are taking longer to sell in our market right now. And when homes take longer to sell, owners get antsy and agents do too. And so one of the tricks some agents will use in their marketing toolbox is to deactivate the listing, terminate it, and then relist it as new. And what this does is it freshens up the listing. It shows up in buyer searches again as a new listing. And then you get the benefit of all of the new listing marketing that aggregate sites will do, like Zillow or AdWorks. And it does reset the days on the market, the DOM as we call it, but it does not reset the CDOM or cumulative days on the market. And so you can still see that. Agents for sure can see that. And in fact, you can't reset CDOM unless you've had your house off the market for 6 full months. But nonetheless, this is something in a slower market that can be done to see if it sparks new life into a listing. So I think that's some of what's going into the numbers. And then in terms of buyer interest, it was not as great as it had been the week before. I think this reflects some of what's going on out there. Buyers are vacillating between being ready or being nervous, and I'm hearing a lot of that when I talk to different clients or attendees at open houses. There's lots of questions about what's going on, and I just have to say that anyone who is trying to predict what's going to happen, that's kind of a dangerous game. I don't get in the prediction game. My crystal ball broke a long time ago, but I can, look at trends, and right now I just see a lot of nerves, and I think that's true kind of everywhere. And so that leads us into the next topic, which is mortgage rates. And because of what was happening this last week with the tariff war, it caused a bit of a tailspin in the stock market. It also caused some disruption in the bond market. And boy, the Fed just doesn't know what they want to do. So the Fed is, I think, very confused, if you ask me, but we shall see. So what that did in effect is it kind of put rates on a little bit of a wild toad ride, if you will, a little up and down all over the place. So take these rates, as I say every time, with a grain of salt. They are not set in stone. They will change. And maybe with Trump kind of lightening his tariff stance, we will see that rates will fall again. And let's hope, because that's great for everybody. That's great for buyers. That's great for sellers. I myself am cheering for that to happen. So let me talk about my AMA section, my Ask Me Anything. One question I do get from a lot of sellers right now is, should I stage my property? And honestly, as in most things in real estate, the answer is it depends. Because basically there are pros and cons to staging your property. So the pros is that it can really make a property shine, especially with photos. And you never get a second chance to redo your first impression, as the saying goes. And it's really true. So your photos and video will definitely shine in a staged home. And it also can help buyers visualize living in the property, visualize spatially how things will fit. A lot of buyers, unfortunately, and this isn't a dig, but it's true, they kind of lack imagination, so they're not able to quite place where things would go. So staging can help with that. And it also can, in some circumstances, not all, in some, help a property sell faster. But there's no guarantee with that. But sometimes that is the little extra oomph that a listing needs to help it sell faster. Now, the cons, though, are obviously the first con is the cost. And for those of you not aware, I mean, staging 4 rooms for a 3-month period could start at about $2,500 to $3,000, depending on the staging company. And it can go all the way up to 5 figures, the low 5 figures. So it just depends on what you're looking for. So that is definitely a factor because the seller does pay for that. And so they have a decision to make on that. Now, if your home is really well maintained and in good shape, then honestly, I don't recommend staging. I think if you just invest some time in some juicing and some decluttering and depersonalizing, that is all you need. It goes a very long way to helping your listing shine and get it sold. But if we notice that, it's sitting, then it might be something to consider. But I find for the most part in the Houston area, unless it's a builder property or it's a newer luxury listing, like a very luxury listing, staging isn't utilized that much beyond a few little tchotchkes here and there on the fireplace and the kitchen counter and the bathroom. And that usually does the trick. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you got some value out of it. I'll be trying to do these every week. And as my thank you, please don't forget to check my description. It has some free downloads that could help you. They're for buyers, sellers, and investors. And until next time, thanks for watching.